With the release of the Terminus Island gameplay for Black Ops 6 Zombies, we've been given a lot of information about what we're going to be expecting when the game releases. There's a lot of new mechanics that are being shown, there's a lot of things that are returning with high quality of life improvements, there's just a lot to cover. So let's get into it. Now, to help preface this video even more, I'm going to be covering information that's come from a lot of different sources, including Call of Duty blog posts, the trailer of the brand new Terminus Island gameplay, multiple different accounts on Twitter recounting some of the information they've been given, and at the time of this recording, the multiple different videos throughout the internet that showed gameplay and just information in general about Black Ops 6 Zombies. This video is going to be a long one, so grab some popcorn, grab a drink, sit down, relax, because I'm going to tell you everything that I could find in a decent manner about what we're going to be experiencing in Black Ops 6 Zombies as a whole. Getting right into it, we know from the start that we're going to have two maps on release date, Liberty Falls and Terminus Island. For Liberty Falls, we don't really have a lot of information outside of the small snippet that we have before COD Next at the end of the Terminus Island gameplay reveal. We do know from other people that have already played the game a little bit already is that there's going to be at least a full main Easter egg for Liberty Falls. Outside of that, we really have nothing else that has been teased outside of the jet gun and that we get to go into the Dark Ether portal. So let's quickly move on to things that we do know. It has been confirmed that Terminus Island is probably going to be the biggest round-based zombies map that we've ever had our hands on. Terminus Island apparently also has the most amount of Easter eggs, both the main quest and the side quest, that we've ever seen on one zombies map. I don't know about you guys, but the fact that we get to have a main Easter egg that isn't anything kind of hand-holding going forward, and we have a ton of side Easter eggs on one map alone, it gets me really excited. Now, speaking of the main Easter egg quest on Terminus Island, there's a bit of a spin on it this time around. For the hardcore zombies players, they held our hand until we turn on the power. After that is just like Black Ops 3. Everything is hidden. We have to figure out the puzzles on our own and find all the materials on our own. Again, just like the OG zombie Easter eggs. So here's the spin on this. Once the main Easter egg has been solved by the community, whoever that is, a few weeks after this has been solved, there would be a brand new guided mode for the main Easter egg. The idea behind this is that this will allow new players to be guided through the whole Easter egg and the boss fight, making it that much easier for them to enjoy the zombies game in and of itself. However, in this guided option, all other Easter eggs, any side Easter eggs, any little things that help you get boosts throughout the map, some positive advantages for going into the final Easter egg, will be turned off. Now, on the flip side, if you don't use the guided mode to complete this Easter egg, you will get very unique rewards. What those are is kind of loosey-goosey. Not a lot of things have been absolutely solid on this yet, from what I have found. Obviously, let me know down in the comments if this is incorrect, but you will absolutely get a unique calling card given to those that complete this before the guided quest comes out. This applies to every single map that they're going to be releasing for Black Ops 6, including Liberty Falls and any future DLC maps. Everything that I just stated is an absolutely massive win for the entire zombies community and those that are trying to enjoy zombies a lot more. And I really don't blame them for trying to jump into Black Ops 6 Zombies, because just from the gameplay reveal for Terminus Island, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now let's move on to something that a lot of people have been talking about, the return of Gobblegums with the Mr. Peaks as the main person piloting the Gobblegum system. So far, it has been stated that there is going to be 20 plus Gobblegums, and a lot of them have already been confirmed, which I'll list them here in a second. They are completely free first purchase every single round. You can get multiple Gobblegums per round, but there is a cooldown on actually getting the Gobblegum, so it might go from a round to another before you can really get one, depending if you actually grab a Gobblegum. You also get to pick 5 Gobblegums going into the game, and it will be distributed into the game at random for you. You can also, before the game even starts, create Gobblegum packs. It essentially gives you a customization of those randomly distributed Gobblegums to you through the Gobblegum machine. Now, it's also been noted that we can get new Gobblegums on varying different rarities that we can take back with us and save into our account. So essentially go round to round hitting the Gobblegum machine for 500 points, to be reminded that every single time you hit that Gobblegum machine for 500, you have a random chance to get any brand new Gobblegum or one of the ones that you came into with your Gobblegum pack. You can only store up to 3 Gobblegums at once, and you can pop all of them at the same time to help stack the Gobblegums on top of each other. Obviously, there's going to be a variety of different effects from these Gobblegums depending on the rarity and depending on the time limit that comes from those Gobblegums, but it's still really cool that we now get to stack them on top of each other, which we couldn't do before. Now, as for the rarity of these, there's going to be only a couple different categories. You're going to have the rare Gobblegums, the epic Gobblegums, legendary Gobblegums, ultra Gobblegums, and of course the fun, whimsical Gobblegums. There's a statement inside of the Call of Duty blog post that explains this a lot better than I probably could, so so definitely take a look at that on the screen right now. But overall, personally, I'm looking forward to the whimsical ones and the ultra ones because they're going to be so broken and so fun to use. And there's been a lot of Gobblegums that have been confirmed, but there's also a ton that we don't know yet but can also speculate. Now, some of the ones that have been confirmed are Burkaholic, Newtonian Negotiation, Wall-to-Wall Clearance, Phoenix Up, Free Fire, Soda Fountain, Killjoy, Shields Up, Anywhere But Here, Profit Sharing, Stock Option, Wall Power, and Cashback. And I'm sure there's more that I have not listed here that have been announced since I've recorded this video. There's a lot of things going on with this brand new Gobblegum system, and I'm definitely here for it. Now, speaking of some new stuff that's coming out, we have to talk about the many new zombie types, specifically to Terminus Island, which haven't been confirmed for Liberty Falls yet, and they are some freaky looking things. We can skip over the normal zombies and the manglers, which we already know is kind of a basis at this point, but we have to talk about the fact that there are evolving zombies in Black Ops 6. Specifically, we have to talk about the Vermin, which is a spider-like enemy that explodes from the dead corpse of a zombie that you recently killed, and the pests, aka bugs that we've seen in previous games that evolve from the zombie vermin that are the spiders if you don't kill them soon enough. In short, the exploding spider zombies from a dead zombie turn into a bug if you don't kill it fast enough. That's nightmare fuel. And to make your nightmare even worse, apparently there's other evolving zombie types that they have not shared with anybody yet and are saving for probably release date and or DLC, so even more nightmares in the future. But in addition to the exploding spider and the flying animated bugs, you have the Amalgams, but I'm probably butchering that name. It's essentially a deformed giant zombie. I think it's about 8 to 9 feet tall inside of the blog post as it was described. That has a tentacle that pulls you in and tries to eat you that way. It's disgusting. The thing's creepy. I don't like it. And in addition to everything else so far, we have something that looks like a Kraken tentacle, which wouldn't be surprising if it's already attached to a Kraken underneath the entire Terminus Island map. In the Call of Duty blog post, it is literally described as the tentacle and also states that it may be attached to something bigger in simpler terms, so it could possibly just stay as only a tentacle that shows up around the map and attacks you when you're on the ocean, or it may end up being the big final boss that we have to fight on Terminus Island. We're just gonna have to see. All I know is two things about these brand new zombie types. One, I'm making sure that my pre-game setup stuff, which I'll be going into next, is at the highest level I could possibly make it, and two, I'm making sure I'm going for headshots. Now, as I said a second ago, I'm going into the pre-game setup and upgrading your loadout. Now, we have to talk about something that has been shown and talked about in multiple different ways on multiple different sites: augmentations. To keep things simple, this allows you to customize perks, ammo mods, and field upgrades depending on the certain path you want to research these different topics. Every single perk, ammo mod, and field grade will have a different set of research paths that you can attach to them. Progressing through all these different paths allows you to unlock different power sets for each of these items. These different paths and these different upgrades are called augments. And per item, we're going to have 6 augments, 3 major and 3 minor. Major is obviously going to be something that helps you out a lot more than some of the minor abilities. And of course, every single different version of the major and minor augmentations is going to give you something a little bit different. For example, a minor augmentation for Melee Macchiato, the brand new perk, is Hidden Impact. Melee kills reload a portion of your held weapon. Fantastic. But the major augmentation is called Vampirism. Successful melee attacks heal for 25 health, which personally, that sounds way better, especially in a tight situation. So it's clear that different augmentation paths really focus on different playstyles, and this is also mentioned inside of the blog post that these augmentation paths are meant for different playstyles and particular playstyles. What different playstyles and zombies they're thinking of, I'm not entirely sure, but it seems like we're going to have a lot of options nonetheless. Now, in addition to all these customizable things with augments, we also have to talk about the loadouts and the customization we get with the loadouts. It has been confirmed that we get to load into the game with any weapon we already have available to us, which is pretty much like Cold War, but we don't start with a brand new pistol like everyone was possibly hoping for. I know I was. But a major thing that is coming with this, when you find a wall buy or a mystery box weapon that you have already put a personal weapon build on, you are provided that personal weapon build as long as you have saved that custom build and assigned it to be accessible at a wall buy or mystery box in your loadout menu. AKA, you buy a wall gun or a mystery box item and you will automatically get the loadout that you already set up in the game. This will also implement any camos, charms, or stickers you have put onto that very same gun. Absolutely massive W. We don't have to randomly pick a terrible gun out of the mystery box or a wall buy when we have run out of ammo of all our better guns. This is an absolutely massive quality of life improvement, but I'm not going to stick on this too long because I want to talk about the field upgrades and the brand new damage type type that comes with them. Now, field upgrades are nothing new. We have a lot of previous ones returning, such as Aether Shroud, Frenzied Guard, Healing Aura, Energy Mine, all the ones that we know and love from previous games. But we have the new addition of a brand new field upgrade called Dark Flare being added. This shoots an energy beam of shadow damage straight in front of you from a smaller, what looks like a ray gun almost. It is said to go through everything in its path, so essentially one hit KO for normal zombies, but we're gonna have to see what it does to some of the bulkier zombies that we run into. And I can't talk about the shadow damage without bringing up the brand new shadow damage ammo type called Shadow Rift. Essentially, this bullet damage from this ammo mod of course does the shadow damage, but each bullet has a chance to create a black hole that essentially teleports normal and certain special enemies to a certain location and warps them down to the ground at a very high speed. It was showcased in the Terminus gameplay trailer. It looks amazing and I cannot wait to use it. Now, to quickly cover what the damage types are, it's nothing new that has come to zombies in the past couple or several years. We have Frost, Fire, Electric, Toxic, and of course the brand new Shadow damage. Each different damage type affects certain zombies more than others, such as disciples are really affected against the electric damage, so you want to shoot disciples with electric damage. I'm sure since they introduced the shadow damage, there's going to be brand new enemies that are really affected by shadow damage. We're just going to have to see which ones those are. Now, I would be terrible if I skip over the brand new wonder weapon for Terminus Island, which is called the Beamsmasher. Honestly, to me, it looks like an upgraded, more an adult version of the Wunderwaffe DG2. It has two different firing modes. One is going to be a very powerful beam that shoots in front of you, obviously melting zombies, but the second one is very interesting. It's essentially emitting a sonic wave that slows down enemies in front of you, making them weaker and easier to kill. Now, in addition to these two different firing modes, it's been stated that if you reload this gun with an empty magazine, I believe they said empty magazine, don't quote me on it, it will release a giant shock wave that also stuns and knocks down the zombies around you. Pretty cool, right? And you can also pack a punch this 3 times, and it has been hinted inside the Call of Duty blog post that if you boost this to pack a punch 3, it has boosted aspects of it. What particular parts that are boosted has been actually redacted, has been taken out of the blog post, so something we get to experience for the first time when we get to play the game. Quick side note, yes, the ray gun is going to be in the game. I hope it is just as powerful as it was originally, not in some of the more previous games where it's really not that good, but we're just going to have to see. But we do know, confirmed, that it is going to be in the game. I'm excited to use it. Next, I'm going to quickly talk about the new and returning perks that we have. Of course, we're going to have some of the classics like Juggernaut, Quick Revive, Speed Cola, Stamina, PhD, Flopper, Deadshot Daiquiri, and Elemental Pop, personally one of my favorites. But in addition to all those great perks, we have Melee Macchiato, which is nothing new at this point with all the different teasers that we've had. This apparently does replace the gun smashing animation, so the butt of the gun smashing into the zombies for certain animations, with a deadly punch that sends enemies flying. It's very simple. I'm absolutely here for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to use. Now, another new thing that a lot of people have been talking about is the Mutant injection serum that allows us to turn into a mangler for a limited time. What that limited time is really to be determined, but it has been stated is not really that long. Unfortunate about the small time limit? Yes. Surprising? Absolutely not. Thankfully, we will be able to craft this at crafting tables using Salvage. Thankfully, Salvage has also been reworked, but more on that in a little bit. Now, the serum looks very straightforward. We inject it into our veins, we turn it into a mangler that we can use the cannon, we can slice them up and simply charge through a horde of zombies very easily. I'm curious if it's going to be required for the main Easter egg. I wouldn't be surprised, since this is something so huge that they added into the game that we really couldn't do outside of Shadows of Evil turning into one of the Margwas. Nonetheless, this serum looks like a lot of fun and definitely an easy get out of jail free card. Another side note, it has been noted by multiple sources that if you kill one of the regular mangler zombies and it drops its cannon, you can use the cannon as a weapon until you run out of ammo for it. Very cool, very excited to use that as well. Now, I talked about Salvage just a minute ago, and it really has been more simplified and reworked than anything else. There is no more different types of salvage for different types of rarity that you get to use for different things to craft. There's now one salvage type, and now it is specific salvage for the player. So if you kill a zombie and you drop salvage from that zombie, only you can pick up that salvage. Nobody else can steal it from you, which is a very big life improvement from Cold War. Thankfully, this also applies to ammo and armor plate drops from zombies that you kill. Now, this salvage can be used in multiple different ways, but one of the main ones being at the arsenal, which is where you can upgrade your guns to different levels of rarity and also get a different weapon mod, different ammo mod attached to your gun. We talked about the new ammo mod a little bit ago, but all the other ones from previous games are returning, like Dead Wire, and these ammo mods can be attached to your gun with this salvage. Now, in addition to the salvage, like I mentioned just a second ago, this also upgrades your weapon rarity, which is returning from MW3 zombies. For the most recent example, at least. Now, the rarities aren't going to be anything different. We're going going to have green, blue, purple, orange, all upgrading in power and rarity as you go up through those different colors. Really nothing new here, but it is definitely something you need to mention because the salvage plays a big part in those rarities. Now for the past 15 minutes, I've talked a lot about what's actually occurring in game, in the actual maps, in the customization before you get into the map. So let's take a step back and look at something that's more just base game related, more quality of life stuff that is really impactful, especially some of the stuff that I'm about to talk about for BO6 Zombies, such as the solo players can now save, quit, and return to a single save point at any point in time. I don't know about you, but this is an absolutely massive W. My life outside of making videos and content for you guys is pretty hectic with my day job, life in general, and sometimes I need to take a step away from zombies, from gameplay, to actually go do normal life things. This feature allows me to stop at a dime and potentially come back days later to the exact same point that I left off the game at. I don't think it's that big of a stretch to say that this might be the best feature that they're adding into BO6 Zombies, especially for people that prefer to play solo like me. But this kind of quality of life stuff does not end there for solo players. If you're in a co-op game and you somehow disconnect, but the host is still active, you can rejoin and continue the game like nothing happened. Something the community has been asking for years. Now the only downside behind this kind of thing is that we do need to have internet connection to actually play zombies, and I think this is because, and it has been stated a little bit, that it is because of the massive systems that are in place to help these quality of life things. Now I know not everyone has a constant internet access, but in the grand scheme of things, in the pros versus the cons, the pros of this particular section that I'm talking about definitely outweigh the cons. Now leading into another quality of life thing, not as big as what I just talked about, but we have a massively customizable HUD feature that really hasn't been seen, I don't think, ever in Zombies gameplay. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. In the Call of Duty blog post, they say that there are so many options to customize this HUD that they can't even fit all of them into the blog post, which is enough for me to think that there is that many different ways you can customize this HUD. You can of course choose some of the pre-made HUD layouts that they have for you, or make some of them on your own. You can turn on and off your health bar, zombie damage numbers, lots of different accessibility options, which is fantastic in my opinion, custom color palettes for everything on your screen, and you can also turn off the Pack-a-Punch camo if you don't like it and you want to rock the camo that you have on your gun already. And this is just a small amount of information that they give us on the blog post. I'm sure there's a lot more when we actually get the game. Now this next quality of life thing is something for door buys. Door buys can now be shared between players. So say you have a door that's $1,000, you only have $500. You can then put your $500, come back and put another $500 into there to fully open it at a different time. This works the exact same way in co-op. You put a $500 amount into that $1,000 door and your friend comes by and fills out the rest of the $500 that's left. The nice thing about this, if you do it in co-op, both the people that contributed to that door get the same amount of XP for opening that door. Massive W. Now everything that I have talked about for the past 17 minutes of this video is just scratching about half of the things that are coming into the game. So next I'm going to talk about the things that I don't deem to need a full-length couple minute section of this video to describe. They're very simple ideas and very easy to grasp. That's why I saved this to the end of the video so you can rapidly run through them. Now to kick off this long list, we have cross progression working across multiplayer and zombies, aka you upgrade a gun in zombies, that same level of upgrades that you got in zombies will go into multiplayer. Craftable self-revives will go away after you have crafted 3 of them per person. This applies to all versions of the game, solo and co-op. Crafting tables, I have mentioned before, make a return that allows you to make tactical, lethal, and support equipment with your salvage, just like Cold War did. This has also been noted to be the hardest time to get high rounds in any of the round-based zombies, stating that there will slowly be things implemented throughout all the higher rounds to make it harder for you to get to 100 rounds. Now there's going to be a lot of really cool 100 round videos coming out and I'm very excited to watch them personally. And just like in Cold War, exfils make a return, so you can exfil probably around every 10 round mark as my guess. That's what it was in Cold War, but we're just going to have to see when the game pops out. The Pack-a-Punch machine will no longer have a menu between Pack-a-Punch levels and ammo mods. It is just straight Pack-a-Punch. You no longer craft armor, but you buy it off of wall buys throughout the different levels, different areas of each map. So each level, each area is going going to probably have a level 1, 2, and 3 armor purchase, and you no longer need to use salvage to create those different levels of your armor. Stats, camo progression, and body counts for all your weapons are tracked for you, so you're going to have to track them yourself, so the camo grind is going to be much easier in Black Ops 6. The Rampage Inducer returns, which if you're not familiar with that, you can interact with a dark ether crystal that allows the zombies to go absolutely crazy and basically speed up every single round up to round 20. A new vehicle, the first time we've ever seen a vehicle inside of a zombies map called the Tactical Raft, can be bought with points to help you traverse around the map to go to different islands and shipwrecks throughout the entire Terminus Island game. Two brand new traps are on Terminus Island. One is a giant dark ether cannon and another is a Margwa tentacle trap scattered across the map. And finally, trials make a return. Now this is not the same kind of trials that we're thinking of. This is something that you do one trial, you complete the trial, you get your reward, and then the trial computer essentially disappears for a couple rounds to come back later on in the game. Now that was a ton of information to digest, and that's just everything we've been given before we have COD Next on August 28th, and of course any other teasers we have between the recording of this video on August 9th up to the actual release of the game in October 2024. So I know it's a lot of information, it's a very long video, so I appreciate every single one of you that got to the end of this video. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, because I'll be covering as much information as I possibly can for the release of Black Ops 6 Zombies and everything else in between, teasers wise. If you enjoyed any part of this video, make sure you hit the like button so I know that you did enjoy the video, even at some part of it, and let me know down in the comments if there's information that I missed that I should put into either a new full-length video or a YouTube short. Again, just let me know down in the comments. Once again, I appreciate every single one of you that got to the end of this video more than you could possibly know, and I'll catch you in the next one.